Warriors vs. Blazers. Golden State, Portland, Oregon. Beautiful. A lot of adjectives have been used to describe the Golden State Warriors' dynastic run since Steve Kerr took over as coach before the 2014-15 season. Hayes won that year, but after watching this team rattle off 4 straight wins since Kevin Durant's injury, including sending the starving Houston Rockets home for the summer without any dinner and becoming the first NBA team to overcome back-to-back second-half deficits of at least 13 points in Saturday's 110-99 Game 3 win over the Portland Trail Blazers, Golden State's toughness should be the first thing on our minds. Often when the Warriors go on their patented third-quarter runs, the response is something to the tune of, well, maybe. Kerr is right, it should speak for itself. But, just as Jordan, Kobe, you don't erase a 2-1 deficit as a young wide-eyed team against the rough-and-tumble Memphis Grizzlies in 2015 by rattling off 3 straight wins without toughness. Meme culture immortal. So, no, every game hasn't been sunshine and lollipops for the Warriors despite winning 3 titles in 4 years. They make it look easy. That desire, that killer. This team is tough. It has been for years. Related slideshow best of the NBA playoffs provided by Iman.
Raindrop, drop top, top smoking, no cooking the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Looking up, open the park.